On this channel, I've done videos about hidden tracks on CDs, how streaming has ruined the album listening experience, and I've even gone into the wild to search for CDs in the modern world. I have a very nostalgic grip on traditional CDs because I kind of can't believe this form of media is seen as just so obsolete. But on the other hand, I can totally understand why it's obsolete. I guess I wouldn't feel complete in this series of looking at this old media unless I mentioned the rise of the enhanced CDs. Stick around as we see what was so enhanced about these CDs. This is Dancing with Ghosts. The enhanced CD was a curious feature that was packed into certain CDs starting in the late 90s that took advantage of the burgeoning popularity of almost every home having a home computer. With computer technology, the ability came about to not only offer CD playback as an option, but it could also offer an interactive experience that, at the time, was still pretty fucking lackluster. But nonetheless, it was a marketing gimmick that was mostly ignored by the general public. I feel like I was trying to set myself up for something positive to say there, but yeah. I had nothing. I didn't even have to look that far, but for my own CD collection, for me to be able to pick out at least 11 CDs that had that infamous enhanced CD logo on the back side of the CD cover. If you're a millennial or older, this logo automatically signaled to the user that if you inserted this disc into your computer, something special was going to happen. Let's take a look at the various enhanced CDs that I own and see what they have to offer. This list seems rather random, but just in my own collection we have Iron Maiden's The Number of the Beast remaster CD, which was released in 1998, the remaster that is, the underrated Maladroit album by Weezer, Deftones' classic White Pony album, Nine Inch Nails' With Teeth album, which was actually a dual disc, which was really the next step in the enhanced CD evolution. We have two Offspring CDs that were enhanced, 1998's Americana and 2000's Conspiracy of One, Blink-182's breakout hit album Enema of the State, and their second breakout hit, Self-Titled, which came out in 2003, also both got the enhancement treatment. Korn's sophomore album, 1996's Life is Peachy, Primus's second covers EP, Rhinoplasty, and finally, the only CD I ever put into my computer back in the day just to see what all the fuss was about, Limp Bizkit's 1998 breakthrough Significant Other. So, on the Iron Maiden, The Mark of the Beast album, their deluxe 1998 reissue, it looks straight out of a Windows 95 game selection menu and really gives me that nostalgia boner that I'm after. Enhanced CDs seem to follow a certain format as to what extra content they can offer you. This is the basic content you could expect on an enhanced CD. Exclusive behind-the-scenes stuff, which is probably the most interesting content on these enhanced CDs, seeing as back then, you couldn't simply pull up the video on YouTube and lost media preservationists were still in their infancy. I particularly found this time-lapse spray painting of the Significant Other Limp Bizkit album art still worth watching, even though the resolution has got to be the size of a postage stamp, but hey, that's all computers could really handle back then when optimizing playback for a mass market. Another feature you may find on enhanced CDs were, for some reason, just songs off the CD, which, why is this needed? Don't you already have the actual CD with the songs in a much higher fidelity? This feature always confused me. There's usually some kind of band bio, sometimes they break it down to individual members, sometimes they don't. It's before Wikipedia existed, so I guess there might have been some kind of value in this feature. Exclusive photos were always a big part of these enhanced CDs, but, like, it's just a picture. Who gives a fuck? We already had MTV well into the 90s and rock music magazines. Why would I want to see some shitty low-quality JPEG of the band when, even at that time, you could find shitty JPEGs on the internet? This feature just seemed like some lame filler content, and unless you're showing me some scandalous shit that would be banned in multiple countries, I really don't need to see what bass guitars Les Claypool is playing. Sometimes the bands would include entire discographies of their music in the sense of, hey, if you like this record, here's other stuff from us you can buy. In Nine Inch Nails' case, from their 2005 With Teeth album, they had their whole discography listed and even short little samples of select songs. But again, this was in 2005, and even by then, DSL and other quicker means of internet access were taking hold, and pirating was the measure of the day. If I had known about your band in 2005 and liked it, I probably had already pirated the 3 songs I liked and incorporated it into my shitty CDR mix CDs, which I had many of. Speaking of Nine Inch Nails and several other artists, after the enhanced CD fad had ended, dual discs became fairly popular. The name is exactly what it implies. It's like a CD sandwich with no CD art. This was an economical way of packing more features onto one disc. Dual discs were almost 100% of the time used for housing a surround sound mix on one side or higher quality video content. These discs are more rare and are still sought after if you have the means to listen on one of those sweet 5.1 surround sound systems, which is really quite an experience if you haven't had the chance to do so yet. I would recommend it. It's a very immersive experience that you can kind of only get from that form of media. Live performances, or should I say clips of live performances, were a feature many record labels thought that people might want. The video for this live Weezer performance looks like shit because video takes up way more room on a CD than audio. So the music sounds good, but since these are the early days of CD storage, there was only so much quality they could put into the video, which is tantamount to basically a PlayStation FMV.
Pepsi for TV game.
It looks like ass, but they dubbed decent audio over the top at least. The Deftones White Pony CD actually has a fucking game that you can play in the style of old Atari games. This is actually a really cool, innovative idea for the time. Not like you'd want to spend any amount of time actually beating this game, but the idea is novel, and it's something you'd fuck with for about 5 minutes before you went on to something else. Being a promotional tool, nearly every enhanced CD had a hyperlink button that led you to the band's website at the time. Now, this being an incredibly ancient technology, of course, all of these hyperlinks are dead now. And what a boring feature at that, as if we didn't know these bands had websites by this time. Then of course you have the enhanced CDs that are so ancient that they won't even work with your PC anymore. My PC is offended that I even put in such an old, outdated disc and refuses to even work with it. I can only imagine the shit quality images and video on these enhanced CDs, but some marketing guy high up at some record label thought that this was great additional content that was packed into your $15 purchase. The problem is, all the various codecs and graphics cards are just too obsolete for newer technology to even recognize. I'm sure there's some app online you can download to solve this issue, but I mean, I don't think you're missing out on much unless you're like a diehard media preservationist. I remember fucking around with the enhancements of these CDs back when I first acquired them, and it came off as clunky and frustrating. At that point in the late 90s/early 2000s, DVDs were making their mark as the way to experience your favorite bands in high quality with none of that installation bullshit. Enhanced CDs were a gimmick and not worth the disc it was written on. It's a curiosity piece that will go on as a footnote in the dying days of physical media, where record labels did everything they could to make your CD buying experience exclusive and provide more of a bang for your buck. But with file sharing and music DVDs, the writing was on the wall for enhanced CDs. Let me know what your experience with enhanced CDs was and if you enjoyed them or not. Until next time, have a good rest of your night.